Okay, we'll call to order the January 2023 meeting of the Homewood Planning Commission. If we could start with a roll call, please.
Okay. Mr. Wilson.
Here.
Ms. Wilcott. Mr. Harwell.
Here.
Mr. Respento. Mr. Armstead.
Here.
Mr. Broadhead.
Here.
Ms. Andrus. Mr. Cronteras. And Mr. Roberts.
Here, thank you. So has everyone had a chance to look at the December meeting minutes? They look pretty good to me. If someone would, I'd entertain a motion to approve.
Motion to approve.
Second.
Okay, all in favor? Aye. Aye. All opposed? All right, so communications. Mr. Armstead, Vice Chair, do you have any communications? All right, I'll just for a second, I should have done this last month. Freddie Wilson is with us tonight again. He's served on this board since 2016. I think his term ended November of last year, but he's very, very nice to stick around. And if he hadn't, we wouldn't be here tonight. But I wanted to thank him for his service on the commission. He's a very diligent, hard worker. He's a person who digs into the details and asks difficult questions, and has been a very invaluable member of this board throughout his time, certainly since I've been on it for the last few years. So I want to thank you for your service. If you come back next month, I might or might not do this again, but but anyway, thank you, and again. All right, so moving along, we have no old business, so we're going to move to new business. The first case tonight is RZ 23-01-01, relating to 2900 16th Place South. And if the applicant would come forward and state the case, please.
Yeah, and I'm Jason Hale. I live at 1400 Sutherland Place in Homewood. I'm here on behalf of the applicant, who is sitting back here, and the current owner of the property.
Okay, Mr. Hale, if you wouldn't mind just writing your name and address down.
Yeah.
I know you stated it on the record, but.
So in summary, I assume y'all probably all been out there to this property or are familiar with what's going on. I believe the city has moved to condemn it. We're under contract to possibly purchase the property. And in that process, the house is going to be demolished, whether we do it or the city does it, right before this all takes place. And it is currently zoned R5. I do a lot of work in Homewood, and I'm kind of familiar with all the zoning pretty well. And in my opinion, it should be MPD, because MPD is what is all around there. And all of the houses either across the street or to the other side of Somerset Drive are all traditional MPD zoned houses. It borders an apartment complex down here on the bottom side. Under current zoning, if you were to go back with the house that's there, you couldn't even build it, which is not that uncommon around Homewood. The setbacks have changed over the years. The goal of trying to change it to MPD is to allow for a house to go there, because under current zoning, this front setback is 35 instead of 25, and your side and rear setbacks all grow. And as it angles in, you get something that looks more like, I'll show you the two, and I'll pass these around. The two versions of which are a little debatable, but here's a version of the first survey plot received back from the survey crew. And this is actually, now that I look at it.
Yeah, this is what's in our packet, I believe.
Right. We included that R5 developable
good.
area, so they have that in front of them. Right.
We believe MPD is in keeping with the neighborhood, and obviously it puts better use to the property than the current R5, and actually lowers the density, which usually is not something that's a problem.
All right, thank you, Mr. Hale. This is a public hearing. If anyone here from the public wants to speak to the case, this is your opportunity to come forward now. Okay, seeing no one, we'll close the public portion of the hearing, and Mr. Hale, if you could answer any questions from the commission. And you mentioned earlier you couldn't rebuild the house that's there now. I don't think we have a drawing with the existing footprint of the house, but is it too deep into the lot or too close to the?
I think it's out in a couple different places. We didn't get it surveyed either, but it's kind of obvious out there that it's out of compliance.
Your notification map does show you a footprint of the house, but this is, admittedly, this is GIS, is not exactly accurate, but you can see a footprint of the existing home of this notification map.
Mr. Hale, we understand the 3 vacant lots, it look like on 16th Place South, that you're building
Correct.
homes there. Is that happening now? I
Yeah,
missed
we're
that one.
actually, 2 of them are finished and 1 finishes in about 2 weeks.
Oh, okay, so there would not be any overlap between them. Okay, just a question I had.
Those are all finishing or finished.
I think we'd pass by acclamation if we could, but short of that, I make a motion to approve RZ 230101.
Who seconded? Okay, thank you. All right. Mr. Harwell?
Yes.
We're voting. Mr. Armstead?
Yes.
Mr. Wilson?
Yes.
Mr. Roberts?
Yes.
And Mr. Broadhead?
Yes.
And Fred, I'm here. I came in a few minutes late.
Oh, I
Sorry.
didn't, I
Yeah.
wasn't looking up.
All good.
All right, and Ms. Andrus?
Yes.
All right, thank you.
Okay, so your case will go forward to City Council with a 6-0 favorable recommendation.
Okay, thank you.
Thank you. Okay, so we're moving forward. Our next 2 cases are related. We'll start with case RS 23-01-02 relating to 1901 South Lakeshore Drive, the Homewood High School property. I see you're already at our podium. If you could just state your name for the record and your address, please.
Sure. My name is Curtis Eatman. I'm with LBYD Engineers. We're at 880 Montclair Road, Suite 600. And I'm here representing the Homewood Board of Education in this particular case to request resurvey of the existing high school property to incorporate a parcel that's approximately 1.5 acres that was recently annexed by the city, and combine that with the overall high school boundary.
Okay, this is a public hearing. If anyone from the public wants to speak to the case, please come forward now. And seeing no one, we'll close the public portion of this case. If you could answer any questions we have.
Absolutely.
And then this land, I believe, was annexed, you said, I guess November, is that right?
November of last year.
Oh, okay.
That's correct.
Can you tell us how many parking spaces will be added, or is that part of the development plan item? Which, okay.
Yeah.
We can address it now. It's up to the
I apologize.
commission. It'll be, the net add will be approximately 86 spaces.
How many do we have currently?
Ooh, do we have that on the development plan? I'm sorry, I don't have that data here.
It was listed, hold it. You mean the total parking or just for that south parking lot?
He was asking for the total on the campus.
I don't have that either. There were-
Make a motion to approve. Second.
All right. Mr. Harwell. Yes. Mr. Armstead.
Yes.
Mr. Wilson.
Yes.
Ms. Andrus.
Yes.
Mr. Broadhead.
Yes.
And Mr. Roberts.
Yes. Okay, so your resurvey has passed. All right, the next case is AD 23-01-03, also relating to the property at Homewood High School. This is the application for an amended development plan. I think you've already covered this to a certain degree, but there are obviously different aspects to this. If you could just state your case for us, please.
Sure. Again, Curtis Eatman. And so the part of the amended development plan is to take this parcel that was just resurveyed into the overall property and basically reconfigure and add parking to the 3 tiers of parking there on the south side of the high school campus. We're impacting approximately 181 spaces, doing some reconfiguration. And again, as I mentioned previously, the net add here will be 86 spaces. Along with this, we'll provide new landscape islands, underground detention to manage our stormwater as it comes off the parking before it goes to the creek. And there is an agreement in place, a lease agreement between the Homewood Board of Education and Sanford University. As you can see on the upper left part of the page, a portion of this new parking lot actually falls on property owned by Sanford University. And so the school board and Sanford have come to a long-term lease agreement for that portion of the impacted property. And so I'd be glad to answer any questions that you may have on this as well.
Okay, well, we have to technically open it back up to the public, so we'll open the public portion of the hearing. If anybody wants to speak to this case, come forward now, please. And seeing no one, we'll close the public portion and open it up for questions.
Just had one thing I wanted to clarify for our record. The Board of Education has had this piece of property for some number of years, right? So
Yes, sir. It was gifted to the Board of Education, and it previously lived in the city of Vestavia. It was de-annexed from Vestavia, but was kind of in limbo, and it was never annexed by the city. So as we started this process, we started uncovering this issue, which is why we've been through the annexation process prior to coming here tonight.
which in my view is because we didn't have a need for it, there wasn't a need to do anything with it until now.
That's correct.
It's not that we have now rushed through something, it's that we now have a need for something the Board of Education has had for some number of years and have proceeded through it.
That's correct.
Thank you.
If you tell us a little bit more about, and I've seen on your drawings, the underground water detention plan you have.
Yes, sir. We have two different underground detention systems, which are basically large pipe systems. And they're designed to, when in a rainfall event, when you get a heavy rain, as you see, like we have a lot of above ground ponds around the area. Basically, they fill up and then they slowly release that water out to mimic the pre-development hydrology of the site. So what we've done is we've broken that up to match the existing drainage basins. The one on the right, the drawing's a little distorted, but they're basically two pipe systems that come through the site and two major drainage areas. So we basically split that up to try to mimic the natural hydrology as much as possible.
Okay. To your knowledge, does existing parking have any similar type of detention?
Not to my knowledge,
Okay,
no,
so
sir. It was all built prior to that being a typical requirement.
Okay.
You mentioned there was 86 net new spaces.
Yes, sir.
Yeah, but I noticed that there's still a lot of available land, even though you got some topo challenges.
It is extremely steep. We're already having to build retaining walls almost all the way around this development and to terrace it down. I don't want to say it could never be developed, but it would be more than challenging.
The thought was if you're already doing it, might as well, can you extend it even further and pick up more spaces?
I think we've pushed the limit about as far as feasible at this time. There's also a Jefferson County sewer easement that runs through there that you don't see. So if you went much further, we would.
Because when I asked the students, they said 86, it should be 186, or 860.
We would love to design it as that.
Figure out exactly how more you can get.
Well, I know there was a discussion at one point in time of a garage or multi-level.
That's right. That's been discussed, but I don't think that's ever gained a lot of traction.
Is there an estimate of cost for adding these 86?
I have one. I don't have that figure here in front of me. But it is significantly less per space than a parking garage would be.
Oh, yeah. What is your time frame for starting construction and ending it? What's your
We will plan to start construction in March is our goal. And then just as soon as we can get done, our goal is to be done before school starts for the fall semester.
Well, this, currently, the 10th grade or 9th graders are not allowed to park on campus. Will this change that?
I can't really speak to how they're gonna manage the parking. I do know this is built in anticipation of increased enrollment in future years is part of the reason. But I'm not able to speak to how they're gonna actually manage and allow parking.
It's a big class is coming.
That's right.
If there are no more questions, I'll entertain a motion.
Motion to approve?
Second.
All right. Okay, all right. Mr. Harwell,
Yes.
Mr. Armstead,
Yes.
Mr. Wilson,
Yes.
Ms. Andress,
Yes.
Mr. Broadhead,
Yes.
and Mr. Roberts.
Yes, so your amended development plan has been approved.
Thank you for your time.
Thank you. We have any communications from the staff before I ask for a motion to adjourn?
So moved.
Yeah. No. No.
So no, I take it there's
None that I'm
none.
aware of.
All right, so all in favor of adjourning?
Aye.
All opposed? All right, we're adjourned.